everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Super Mastro Bros podcast. I am your host, Roman. As always, joining me is my baby bro, Nico. Nico, say what's up to the people.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us. We have a show lined up for you today that you should enjoy. But first, let's start it off with what happened on this day in history. And in 1989, on this day, Family Matters. Well, what am I saying? Family Matters. TGIF. Technically, it's the same thing, I guess.
Well, Family Matters was part
of it. Yeah. TGIF first aired, and Family Matters was a part of that. I loved that show as a kid growing up. Also on TGIF, you had things like Full House, which was huge. Boy Meets World. What else did it have? Sabrina Teenage Witch. Yeah. What else was on there? Perfect Strangers. It was good. I enjoyed TGIF. It was a way to stay home with the family and kind of bring close. I think that was its design was to bring the family unit together.
I could see that, obviously.
Which is obviously noble and great. We need more of that.
I think the only two I really remember watching was Family Matters and Boy Meets World. Like, I don't think I watched any of the other ones personally.
Dude, Full House was awesome. Don't you
really
ever speak bad on Full House.
I never really watched it ever, to be honest with you.
It was awesome.
I remember, like, the Olsen twins came out of that. And I know it was popular. I just never really watched it.
Dude, Uncle Jesse.
And I know it took place in San Francisco because, like, I remember people visiting the house when I lived, like, out there.
Bro, so, Uncle Jesse.
Wasn't he part of, like, a rock band?
Yeah, he's my dude.
Okay. I never watched it, man. I know he was part of a rock band, though.
Shout out to John Stamos for being awesome. Not aging a day. He's got to be in his 50s. He hasn't aged a freaking day. He looks great. So good for John Stamos. And thanks for Family Matters. What is wrong with me? Fuller House.
Yeah.
Family Matters, you got Urkel out of there.
How did that come back on Netflix, by the way? But anyway.
It's good. I enjoy it. I watch it.
It's just that one I was not expecting. That came out of, like, left field.
Yeah, it did. It came out of nowhere. Hopefully they bring Family Matters back with an older Steve Urkel.
That'd be funny.
Him and Carl Winslow still going at it. But so a lot has happened since our last episode.
Definitely.
In the news. It's been a very, very busy week or so in the news. Nico, you want to go over some of the major things that have played out in the headlines?
Yes. Well, we had a Nintendo Direct recently. Mainly, it showed a lot of old games being ported, a lot of Final Fantasy and stuff like that. But they talked a little bit about the Nintendo Online Game Service. Now, this is kind of connected to a point that I made before about how Nintendo needs to give us a little something when they're coming after the ROMs and emulators. So, as you know, like Xbox games with Gold, they give you like 4 free games a month. Mm-hmm. PlayStation, they give you like 4 games a month. But these are newer games. What Nintendo's going to do is they're going to give you free NES games. Which is kind of like...
like, thanks for the 8-bit game from 1987.
Yeah, they're like rolling them out slowly, but it's not like... I think it's like you get all of them for free. But like they're rolling it out in like phases.
So you'll get like Ghouls and Goblins or something?
Like all of them, I'm pretty sure, at some point. But they're just rolling it out by like step by step. But to me, it doesn't go far enough. What I want, give me the NES... Give me the Super Nintendo, give me the Game Boy Advance, give me the N64, give me all of them.
Give me the N64 and brush up the graphics.
Yeah, because NES is like, it's too old at this point. Like, I still like these games.
About 30 years ago.
Yeah,
but technology has rapidly progressed.
Yeah, it's like when your competition's giving away new games, you gotta either give me them all or like step-ups. You gotta step up somehow.
I would agree.
So that's what I got on that. But also, one of the things they showed off, which I think you'll like, Capcom has a beat-em-up collection coming out on the Switch. The commercial for it's hilarious. You should check it out. It has like 7 games in it, and like the big flagship one is Final Fight. But there's
I love Final Fight.
Final Fight was dope.
Guy and Cody and Hager.
Yeah. Who was the mayor? Think about that.
Yeah, he was a mayor. He's taken to the streets to clean them up.
Yeah. But, so I thought that was super exciting. Since,
I'm excited about that for sure. Yeah. I love that genre. I've said that before. I'll say that every time. I love the beat 'em up. I guess because I grew up in the 80s where Jean-Claude and Steven Seagal and, Chuck Norris, they were just kicking everyone's ass. So I guess that's why I kind of gravitate toward it.
Also, in more interesting news, PlayStation has finally decided to give in on the demands for crossplay.
Yes!
Yes, finally. Starting with Fortnite's going to be the first one.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Yeah, because it's so popular. But that's just the beginning. Now, it makes me wonder why finally they're giving in. I think it's 2 reasons. One, the Switch is going full ahead with it. Before, it was just Xbox and PC, but now that Switch is jumping into the action, it puts pressure on them. But the other thing is Bethesda. They're releasing this like trading card Elder Scrolls game, which I'm not looking forward to personally. But they gave Sony the ultimatum that if you don't allow crossplay, we're just not going to release it for the PlayStation. And this
Wow.
game, yeah, I know, ballsy, right?
That's that's a brazen move.
Yeah. And now this game, I don't think it's going to be that popular because of the genre. I'm not even looking forward to it, and I'm a huge Elder Scrolls game fan. But I think they're worried about other developers giving them the same ultimatum. Because if multiple developers start saying that to you, then you're going to have to give in. So I think they're just getting ahead of it and just being like, okay,
Bethesda.
yeah, that's some balls right there.
When we edit this back, can you put Gandalf saying "You shall not pass"
That's
to the Balrog right there? Because
good.
that's basically what they just did.
Yeah, they really. Here's the thing. I don't even see how it benefit them. I think they were just like tired of it. Like, why?
We will not be pushed around.
Yeah, exactly.
Good for them.
Yeah, really good for them. Some sad news is a studio who I liked a lot, Telltale Games. They are going under and going bankrupt, and that's it, folks. It's the end of them.
Why so? Why do you think that is?
Well, here's the thing. When you buy the rights to games, they don't make original content, first off. Like, they do The Walking Dead, they do Batman, they do Guardians of the Galaxy.
Weren't those
Game
games
of
popular,
Thrones.
though?
Yeah, but the rights to make those games cost a lot of money, so you need to sell a ton of copies.
And I guess it didn't have the volume.
Sooner or later, they just didn't keep up with what they were spending to get those rights to make those games.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So sadly,
It's unfortunate
that's it.
for Telltale.
And, personally, I think their version of The Walking Dead is so much better than the TV show.
The TV show, not to get off topic, but has gone on too long, in my opinion.
I agree. Started off strong, but it went
It was
downhill.
phenomenal. First 3 seasons were great.
Yeah,
It
I
slowly
agree.
tapered
First
off.
3 seasons
Added
were
in Negan, I think, was a nice little kind of jolt to it. But then again, it's gotten old. It's the same thing. It's very repetitive at this point.
Yeah.
So, sorry, not to get too
But
far off topic.
the Telltale game of it, it's so much more hardcore and well written. And like people who haven't played it, they're probably like, more hardcore than the TV show? Yes, it's it's like way more messed up.
That's saying something.
Yeah. But that's unfortunate. We lost one of the big good developers out there, but moving on, we finally got the trailer for Captain Marvel.
I saw it. It looks
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
It looks
it's very
very
nostalgic.
awesome. Yeah, it is.
Starts with her falling into the blockbuster.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh snap, Blockbuster.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Blockbuster.
Yeah. But obviously, I think it's going to be a huge hit. Marvel's been just tearing it up lately, so
Marvel
I expect nothing less.
is an unstoppable beast.
Yeah.
They are the
they're
juggernaut.
Yeah, I was
You know
about
what
to say that.
When
They
they get on a
really
roll,
are.
there is no stopping them at all, unless the universe has a Professor X out there somewhere and Marvel somehow loses its helmet. But yeah, it does look
looks
good.
fantastic, and they've given hints that Secret Invasion is on the way.
Scrolls?
Yeah,
That's dope.
because
That's super dope.
she punched that old lady in the trailer. She's obviously a Skrull in disguise.
Yeah, definitely.
So Secret Invasion
So
is probably the next phase.
Captain Marvel's not going around assaulting the
Yeah,
the elderly.
Yeah, exactly. That wouldn't be happening.
Side note before we move on to the next topic, but this intrigues me because now that Disney has purchased back
Mhm.
X-Men,
Yes,
could you now tie Rogue to Captain Marvel?
like they did in the comics, because
where
that's how
she
Rogue-
gets her powers.
Yeah,
exactly. That could be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see how they decide to do that. They might. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
then Rogue, I always picture
makes her
Rogue
much cooler.
flying
Yeah,
and being
exactly.
super strong, not just
Yeah.
absorbing the powers.
Like
so.
in the Marvel movie, the X-Men movie, she just wasn't as interesting because she wasn't the Rogue.
She wasn't fully powered.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. And also on the side note, before I move on, this isn't actually a trailer. But they released a little bit of footage from the Venom movie, which you should check out. Venom comes into contact with like cops in it, and they try to arrest him. So it's like a heavy action scene. And I got to say, the action scenes look like they're going to be good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is what I said a couple episodes ago.
The action scenes look like they're going to be good.
Have some faith in Venom, man.
Well, here's the thing. I think the plot's not going to be good because It's Venom without Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I think the CGI looks fantastic, and I think the action scenes are going to be good.
Venom's one of my favorite characters. I have high hopes for it. But again, think about this. It's not like Venom's entire existence revolves around Spider-Man. He's actually a character that
I know, but it's still a pretty important part of it.
I agree.
Uh,
But thumbs up from this Mastro Bro without seeing it. It comes out very shortly, so
Yeah.
hopefully.
well, hopefully it comes out pretty well. We'll see how it looks. Moving on though, Xbox, they had a press conference where they announced two things. They're adding mouse and keyboard support.
I don't really understand that, but you want to elaborate a little?
Some PC games, they're strictly mouse and keyboard. I
Right.
guess in a hope to get those games ported to the Xbox in the future, they're enabling mouse and keyboard. So now you could use the controller or you could use a mouse and keyboard.
I never understood, and I know people always say, "Oh, the mouse and keyboard is so much better, so much better." But for me, it's very.
It depends on the kind of game you're playing.
Ah.
First person shooters, mouses tend to be more accurate. Personally, I still like the way
I like a
controller. Yeah, a controller just feels better in your hands. A lot of strategy games, a lot of MMOs, a lot of first person shooters, a lot of people prefer mouse and keyboard. Some games they don't even allow controller. The first Witcher game, even today on PC, no controller support. It's just mouse and keyboard.
It's just so odd. Like, how do you F3 to jump? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I
I
don't.
will always prefer a controller. So, and also they announced the return of EXO, which is similar to Nintendo Direct, where it's like their own mini E3, and this year it's going to take place in New Mexico. So, anybody from New Mexico, I hope you attend and enjoy yourselves.
Are they gonna dig up the?
The
They're gonna dig up
Atari.
the Atari ET games. That's what they're going to reclaim their.
That's so funny. I didn't even think about that. Also, we had Tokyo Game Show this week that ended a few days ago. I didn't see any new games, but they showed off a lot more footage of some games. They had playable demos that were like 20, 30 minutes long of Resident Evil.
2?
Yeah, Resident Evil 2 remake.
I like that.
Days Gone.
How'd it look?
Looks good.
Nice.
That zombie game from Sony, Days Gone, looks really good.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Looks really good.
Check it out. Days Gone.
Yeah. What they announced that at E3 also, so
Okay.
that's not a new game. They showed a playable version of Devil May Cry 5. And there was one more that it looked really good. But yeah, they're finally like showing like long playable demos of these games. If I remember what it is, I'll drop in some footage.
Nice.
That's also where they announced the PlayStation Mini Classic.
I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah, I love the first PlayStation. I thought it was a fantastic system.
100% agree. My two concerns are, one, the controller does not have joysticks. There's none of the
Well, no, the first PlayStation controller, it didn't, but they've released a PlayStation original controller that did, if I remember right, like late into the life
they
cycle.
did,
We
but
never had that, though.
the one that's coming out, the
Yeah.
pictures they show,
It doesn't
they
have
do
them?
not have the dual sticks. So, can you
You
go
only
back?
need them for first-person shooters, really.
Well,
in my opinion.
Well, if you're doing a third person, how do you work the camera? You know, if you the certain angles you're gonna miss when you're turning corners and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but back then, I feel like all
followed you, it
third-person,
just
they had
followed you.
auto-aim, yeah.
yeah, maybe. I don't.
I'm
We've,
trying to
we've come so
remember,
far,
like,
so I don't remember.
I could remember like third-person shooters like Siphon Filter and Just Cause, but I
Siphon
don't.
Filter.
Yeah, those were great games. And remember Just Cause with the dog?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't Just Cause.
No, yeah,
that
it
was
wasn't. Dead to Rights.
Dead to Rights.
Yeah.
That was a dope game.
Yeah, those
dude.
were great games. So I remember them, and the 3D Duke Nukem for PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called, but that was fun. So they did have those style games back then, but you didn't really need the way they were made. You didn't really need the dual thumbsticks
Yeah,
we didn't have them.
Well, they made it for the technology that they had,
Yeah.
so they didn't.
They'll figure out
Well,
ways.
that's a concern of mine. I don't know yet until I see it.
It's a
now,
valid point.
Have they brushed up the graphics? Have
No,
they been
they're not
enhanced
going
to
to.
HDMI?
Well, yeah, it'll have HDMI,
So
but
won't that technically enhance
it'll
it?
make it look a little bit better because it's a digital to digital interface, but instead of analog to digital. So yeah, it'll look a
A
little
little
bit
bit
better,
crisper,
but
right?
yeah, crisper. That's the correct word I would use in that situation. But it won't be significant enough to be like, oh, it looks so much better. But will it look better? Yes, because it's not analog.
You know what we should do on next week's episode?
Hmm.
We should speculate because they announced 20 games.
Yes, they did.
We should speculate which 20 are going to be there, or
Absolutely.
which
We would
we'd want.
prefer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's do that next week.
I think
Stay
that
tuned
will
for that
make
next week, folks.
a very interesting topic.
That's coming next week.
And finally, the MGU, Marvel Gaming Universe. Because,
MGU.
yes, because Spider-Man has sold so well on the PlayStation 4, Marvel has announced that it's going to be their version of Iron Man kicking off a Marvel Gaming Universe.
Hmm. That's very interesting.
Yeah. It kind of makes sense because now gaming is more profitable than the movie industry. And every Marvel movie, it's like $1 billion movie. So if gaming's even more profitable, and more importantly, they own all the rights to gaming. They never sold off any of their gaming rights
I'm
or their
very
cartoon
excited about
rights.
this
Yeah.
news. I didn't know that at all.
Hmm.
But that's freaking awesome because in our launch podcast, it was either the first or second episode. I was saying I needed a new Marvel game, and I knew that the Spider-Man was
They're
coming
gonna
out,
go hard.
but I wanted like an Ultimate Alliance, like something like
Well,
that.
we might get one of those because I remember like last year, I think it was last year, maybe even the year before, they've been going around announcing studios that they were teaming up with. And one of the studios is Square Enix. Square Enix,
They make
I
great
believe,
games.
yeah, I believe they're already contracted to do 2 Marvel games, if I remember correctly.
You know what would be dope?
Huh.
A dope concept. I played a couple Transformers games, and
Mhm.
I forget it was like Cybertron or something. I forget the name
Yeah,
of it,
you're
but
probably thinking of the one that's made by Platinum Studios.
I think
It's
so.
like a cell shaded and it's like heavily action based.
Yes, that's one
Yeah,
of them that I played.
yeah.
And their concept was on different levels, you utilize different characters.
I
So,
like
like,
that.
I like that too.
Yeah.
So that way you shuffle them. What would be cool is if they did like an Avengers, for example,
Hmm.
and one level your Cap, one level your Thor, one level your Iron Man, one level your Hulk, and you kind of cycle through that
Yeah.
with Marvel.
Just make
That'd
the
be a cool
story
concept.
intertwined, but you play as
It's
different
different characters
characters.
at
Yeah.
different levels. That'd be dope.
Yeah. I think that could be more interesting because I do like the Ultimate Alliance style game also, but if you have it where you control just one character instead of 4 characters at the same time, you could make the way each character plays even more unique and the game have its own feel for each individual character,
Exactly.
which
Exactly.
also makes you feel more like that character, so it makes you more immersive.
I'd like to get my hands on Cap. Cap's always been one of my favorite characters. He's definitely one of my top 5 all time for Marvel. He's such a cool character. Imagine just running through like hordes hordes of I don't know
Hydra.
Hydra or robots or whatever, and it's like Destiny or Dynasty Warriors, and you have your shield, you're just blowing through hordes of dudes. Like that'd be cool.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that could be interesting.
Something like that. I don't know. That's just my take on what I would expect out of something like a Cap like level. Because he's so hand to hand.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Jumping out of a plane and landing and just destroying people. Shout out to Cap.
Yeah, he's awesome. Anyway, that's all the news that we have for this week. So yeah.
That's it. That's everything. I mean, that was a
Well,
lot. That was a lot.
I'm
to
sure
get through.
there's been other things that I probably missed, but those are some of the big stories that I've seen in the news this week that I found interesting.
Oh, for sure. No, that was great. Great. Thanks for the update. I don't know.
guess there is one more thing, just because it's something that came out recently. Netflix, they picked up this show, The Dragon Prince, which was from the maker of Avatar, The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra, and it's only 9 episodes. They're only half hour each, so it's like only 4.5 hours, I think. It was pretty good. I liked it.
It's on my queue. My kids want to watch it.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll like
I
it.
just
It's
haven't
very
sat
kid
down.
friendly.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Very good.
Yeah.
I just haven't had a chance to sit down with them and like go through that. They're all over the place. They're
The only thing about it is it uses this weird 3D animation that it's like a little. You'll see when you watch it. Like I'm not a big fan of 3D animation yet. I think they got a little way to go before it actually is as good as 2D in my opinion.
Did you? I mean, this is kind of not having to do with anything, but because it's
Go ahead.
anime, it just
Fine.
triggered a thought in my brain. Did you watch the Full Metal Alchemist movie they had
No,
on
not yet. It's on my list though.
there? The
The
one,
live action you're talking
yeah, it
about.
actually
Yeah.
looks pretty good. Yeah.
So does the Blade of the Immortal. Yeah, there's a few live action ones that look good. That looks good. Hopefully it is good. So far, almost every live action anime I watch, I'm usually not a big fan of, but we'll see. I hear oh god, the Rurouni Kenshin ones are supposed to be really good. I haven't gotten around to watching them yet. They are on my list though. So
Nice.
we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I knew there was a lot to cover in the news, so
Yeah.
I didn't really prepare any additional topics to discuss. If unless you have anything to add, I mean, we can wrap it up here. It'll just be a short episode like last week's.
No, that's fine.
Cool. All right. Well, that was the show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, we love doing the show. We hope you enjoy it. We love our Super Mastro Bro podcast family. Please comment, like, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. Get involved. We'd love to hear from you. On that note, I think we'll wrap it up here. All right. Well, live long and game on. Take care, guys. Till next time.